fellow viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Legend. So I asked for opinions on who we should play in the new game in the last episode, and the Cultists were overwhelmingly the winner of that informal poll. I'm excited about this, but also a little cautious. I think that the Cultists present some unique challenges that make them difficult to win against the Endless AI with. This might take a couple tries. We're likely to lose the first game or two here with these guys. So we'll talk about what the Cultists... Well, I don't know. I was going to say we'll talk about what they do once we get in the game. I guess let's just get to it now. First of all, they do this. Be really creepy. It's very unsettling. This strange cult is led by two creations that are remnants of the Endless. The Queen, imprisoned within her indestructible throne in the capital city, and the Unspoken, a wandering and perhaps insane being of enormous power. Left alone on the planet for millennia, they have turned against their creators, and sworn to destroy every trace of their existence. To do so, they recruit, train, and arm lesser beings from the tribes and vagrants that live scattered across the surface. Regardless of where they are or to whom they have previously sworn allegiance, when a tribe turns to the cult, it does so until its death. Monolithic, fanatic, and ever-expanding, the Cult of the Eternal End will spare no effort, cost, or sacrifice to see that its will is done. Yeah, the Cult of the Eternal End. That's a noble goal, right? That's us. So this is the game's single city faction. A bunch of 4X games have this idea now. So obviously we can't produce settlers. We have one settler at the beginning of the game, and it's the only one we will ever have. Once we found the city, obviously, since it's our only city, we have to grow it as quickly as possible. And to help with that, cultist districts can level up to level 3 instead of just the normal level 2 cap. Obviously, that's pretty powerful. The way it works is that when a level 2 district becomes surrounded by 4 other level 2 districts, it becomes a level 3 district. It's very similar to the normal level up process. It just means that once your city gets really huge, the internal tiles will keep gaining effectiveness. In particular, this is really effective with the Wonder districts, the Industrial Megapole, things like that. So hopefully we'll be able to get some of those. I don't know, it's pretty competitive for those on this difficulty. We have Worshipper's Frenzy. Okay, this is our Dust Eclipse effect. 10% attack per city center level on minor faction units. 10% damage. Okay. It's 10% attack, damage, defense, and life per city center level on all of our minor faction units during the eclipse. That's that's important because a lot of the core of our military is going to be minor faction units. The cultist units are not super great, with one exception. So we will have a lot of minor faction units, probably. We have the ability to convert minor faction villages that have been pacified. A village that is converted to the cult is basically a little miniature outpost for us. It actually works exactly the same way as a golem camp. It exploits the tiles around it and sends those resources back to us in the home city. It will occasionally produce a unit of whatever minor faction type it is. So like a Herna village will produce those orc archers. But unfortunately, we can't retrofit those units and we can't set designs for them, so they'll be basically useless past the very, very early game. Because they're always, like, no matter what level they come in at, they're always going to be units that aren't wearing any gear, and so they'll get trivially crushed by any player army. I think we can sell them. I don't really know. They don't have a lot of value. The minor faction villages will exploit luxury and strategic resources that are near them, so that's going to be how we get stuff that didn't occur in our home region. That and trade. We have the Walls of Faith trait, which gives us extra fortification and militia on our main city. Obviously, since we only have the one city, it's extremely important that it does not fall. And whenever we capture another player's city, it will immediately be burned, and we'll get an industry stockpile for every point of population that it had. There's also a text somewhere, okay, yeah, this one, that also gives us a science stockpile per citizen when we burn a city down. This is in Era 2, and it's probably something we'll want to get fairly early. We have to play pretty aggressively with these guys to keep the endless level AI from just completely taking over the world. We'll also unlock this thing eventually, plus 40 XP on converted units. I believe this only refers to the free units we get from converted cities and not units that we build that are of the minor factions that we have converted, which is a shame because, like I said, those units are functionally useless. And then we have our basic units, so I guess we look at them here. This is our starting unit, the Preacher. 36 life, 34 defense, 18 damage, 20 attack. This is probably the worst combat unit in the game. You are not intended to use Preachers as the backbone of your army. Obviously, you're supposed to get some minor faction stuff going on. But these guys are absolutely horrible, and they're the only military unit we will have access to at the beginning of the game. We have a very rough start. Eventually, we'll gain the ability to build Fanatics, which are these, like, terrifying statue cavalry. They're okay. And then in Era 2, the ability to research the Nameless Guard, which are actually quite good. These are totally reasonable archers. I think probably, in my opinion, the only good unit on the Cultist roster. But quite a good unit. An archer is a good thing to have. In addition, we start with language squares. We can communicate with the minor factions right away, and military science, which allows us to build even more fortification into our main city, something we may totally have to do. And with that, I think let's get going. First of all, hold on, let's change some of these player colors up. I do wish it didn't start you with both the greens and both the blues by default. Like, there are 6 different colors available. Let's have those. And we're pretty much on normal world gen settings. I can't remember if I said this or not, but we're playing on the newest version of the community patch 2.1.5, link in the description below. Probably, provided I manage to remember to put it down there. We're going to be playing on mostly normal world settings and a Pangea world, which I don't actually think is a good... I don't think Pangea is the shape that leads to the best games. However, with us playing as the Cultists, we have a lot more trouble than a lot of other factions projecting force against players on other landmasses because we have no ability to, like, establish a remote city to use to resupply and stuff. So basically we're playing on Pangea sort of as a handicap for me to help me, because I think this is going to be hard enough as it is. Okay, let's get going. While we're loading in here, I do want to say, I was right, by the way. It happens rarely enough that I want to celebrate it every single time. I was right about the cost of the Temple of the Earth's Core. The community patch dramatically increases the cost of that building, like really by a lot. In order to make it so that building the Temple of the Earth's Core is hard enough that you have to consider doing the victory quest instead when you get to that point in the in your faction quest, once you've completed all the steps of your faction quest, which I guess is fair enough. But that is part of why I was so caught off guard by the amount of time it was going to take us to build the temple. That said, even with the temple at its normal cost, I still don't think we would have won that game in time.
The Endless broke us when they broke themselves. Now we are few, and many that remain are of little use. Yet our purpose still drives us. Even death cannot be allowed to stop us. We must find new converts, new servants, who will help us fulfill the great oaths we took so long ago. They will not only be our hands and our eyes, they will be the sword and the shield of our armies that will bring the eternal end. First upon Origa, and then across the universe.
Okay, let's see what we got here. A nice coastal rainstorm. I'm not super jazzed about this territory. Yeah, wow, look at how bad these tiles are. Let us have a little bit of a look around. Okay, we probably don't want to found in the volcanic terrain. What with there being literally no food over there. Oh, that's interesting. 2 mineral-rich tiles right next to each other. Again, actually no food. Does make me a little bit nervous. There's food nearby. This is not an ideal starting spot. Especially because if we start on this tile, one of our starting tiles only has 2 points of resources and one of them only has 1. But we do want to start near the coast. Here, let's go grab this ruin. I think we're probably going to settle here on turn 2. This is a bad start, though. I'm not going to lie to you. Really? That's just... It's just kicking a man while he's down is what that is. I don't love not founding on turn 1, but you got to be really careful with these guys. Obviously, this first city is literally everything. So, yeah, wow, we are going to have no food. The good news is, with us starting between the volcanic regions, it's unlikely that the other players will be able to develop large cities to be near us right at the beginning of the game. I gotta remember not to walk on the lava flow if we can avoid it. Yeah, I gotta say, this is a weak start. Well, we're gonna get in. You know, if we end up having to have a second game start relatively shortly, then I guess that's what we'll do. Let's put down right here, actual 0 food, but 17 industry is not terrible. No, it's pretty bad. We'll make it work. Because we have to. So the city has a little bit of natural food production. Never mind. The city has no natural food production. And we have -2 food because we have a point of population. But this is really bad. However, we can't not work food. Or we will... I think our only person will starve. I don't know if that's actually a thing that can happen. Fortunately, with 17 industry to start with, we can build our Founders Memorial relatively quickly. Got 30 dust, okay. Let's try to find some good quests here. Remember, we can talk to these guys right away. So these ones want to, sorry, this is not the right way to look at this. These ones want us to give them 50 dust. When we give them 50 dust, they're going to ask for one of 3 things. They're going to either want us to bring them 5 glass steel, or bring them 5 titanium, or bring our hero over to talk to him. We're going to hope real hard for it to be the last of those 3. Okay, with a hero-led army, find and talk to the other Delvers village in the same region. Okay, easy enough. Pacified villages can be converted. Unfortunately, conversion costs influence, which we obviously don't have a ton of right now, but we'll get more. So you want to just head over in this direction. Yeah, not super excited about our starting position here. So we need food very badly. However, I'm not sure that it's actually a good idea to do this. The Nose Plays pointed out, somewhat frequent commenter and also good strategy game video maker, The Nose Plays, pointed out that getting food buildings prior to the first winter is a little tricky, because you may not actually, like, by the time we research this and then build it, it might be winter already. And it only gives the flat 10 food during the summer. The 15% food bonus always works, and so it's a little bit more forgivable in cities that already have decent food output. But in our city, 15% of food without the 10-point bonus is 0, is none food. So I don't know. We could research cultivation in order to build a husbandry center, which does work at all times. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should still do that. Like, we need food that badly. And then get the mill foundry. Or maybe the other way around. This is going to be a little while. 150 industry to produce the thing would be almost 10 turns at our current rate. Yeah, okay. Let's swap these. We'll get the mill foundry first. Population growth is going to start a little bit slow. It's not great. Obviously, also, the minor faction villages follow the same rules as cities for exploitation, so this village will only be able to exploit these tiles, which means that this is not a super high priority for conversion. Oh, I thought we'd be able to walk right up. Well, still, it was the right thing to get out of the lava immediately. And I guess we can turn off the resource overlay since we're not looking for a new settling site or anything. The conversion begins, but the task is formidable. Few of those we attract are worthy, and even those must be trained. It would be convenient if more survived the training, but the unspoken insists on rigor. We will follow one of these. Perhaps we can learn from it. So, about most of the faction quest is actually told from the perspective of one of the converted minor faction people. This one, the Disobedient. It came with machines and troops, and we saw that our weapons were nothing. Our tools, armor, fences, walls, useless. It was cold and terrifying. It preached and promised, as all the powerful ones do. But this was different. These cultists want to convert, invade the old places, and cover the world with their believers. But who is insane enough to dream of ruling a world? This cult. It told us about a vengeance of centuries, and asked us to join their terrible purpose. I looked right and left to see my people groveling. Their weakness angered me. I did not bow or grovel. I fought back and refused. That thing, that metal monster, broke my weapon and broke my legs, and threw me into a pit. And then it began speaking to me. We have work to do to bring these savages into the purpose of the cult. While we train the recruits, we must continue to swell their ranks. So we got to convert 2 minor faction villages. It is worth noting that luxury resources will not be quite as important for us as they are for other factions. Boosters won't always cost 10. Converted villages, I believe, add 2 to the cost of boosters. But in general, boosters will be quite cheap for us. So we got to convert 2 minor faction villages. That's going to mean getting some influence, as well as, obviously, getting some pacified villages. So let's have our hero come over here. I know I've already, but this is what. Oh, I'm supposed to bring him. Sorry, I'm supposed to bring him to the other village in the region, which they did not highlight for me. How dare they? Okay, so we really need our hero to be the one exploring down here. Let's have this guy head off in this direction. Alright, and this guy is going to need to introduce himself to the Gelderus over here pretty quickly. Yeah, man. Our city is not amazing. We have some reasonable dust output, but unfortunately, we're consuming it entirely with our military upkeep. So this is one of the downsides. Excuse me. One of the downsides of this thing where we split all of the units off into their own directions at the beginning of the game. You pay an upkeep cost for each unit, but you also pay an upkeep cost for each army. Right now, we're paying the army upkeep cost 3 times instead of 1. The trade-off is that we find a lot more stuff very quickly at the beginning of the game, but, I mean, it is a trade-off, right? Like, there are some significant losses going on here. Oh, look at that. Beautiful, verdant territory across the way. And what do we have? Sand. Just endless sand. Okay, 10 gold. You know, gold is also not quite what I'm... Where's all the dust, man? I just want some dust from these ruins. I'll have a chat with those guys. Let's have a chat with these guys. We might be able to get lucky and get some easy pacification quests, which would certainly help with our loot situation. To pacify the Gelderus in Hamara, find and destroy a village in the region called Avarilia. Locate the right Sisters of Mercy village and destroy it. Avarilia. Do I have any idea what the nearby regions are called? Well, it's not this one. The good news is Sisters of Mercy are not very good fighters, so we actually will probably be able to do that. Our starting hero is actually very powerful in a lot of ways. We should actually pop in here and have a quick look at Andom the Seer. So Andom the Seer has Influence Boost 2 and Army Health Boost 2. I think Influence Boost 2 is quite strong. This is a pretty good combat hero, 49 attack, 49 defense, 46 damage, but probably Andom is going to end up being a governor. Remember, the cultist trees are just... The cultist faction tree is just bananas. And this guy will probably always be our highest level hero. Hero. And also, Influence Boost is especially relevant for this faction, since we need influence to convert the minor factions. So we're going to do a little bit of running around here at the beginning. First of all, because we need resources. So we need just bodies out there doing running. And secondly, we need to get XP on Andom as quickly as we can. We have pacified 2 villages now. But at some point, we're going to want to pop him back over here and have him become the governor. We should, real quick, take a look at the legendary deeds. So be the first to activate 4 luxury boosters in order to gain 130 emeralds. Not a very good bonus, in my opinion. Emeralds are probably the least useful of the first tier luxury resources. And here, pacify 8 villages in order to get 15% initiative for all of your units forever. We just pacified 3 villages in this region with that one quest, so we're winning currently. This is totally conceivable that we could get this. And it's quite good, I think. Alright, so obviously we're headed for that ruin next. You just need to keep looking around, find me ruins, find me the locations of other players, but please do not actually meet them. Oh, wow, I wish we'd started here. Look at this. Look at the resource output of this space. Ugh. How close are we to the coast? Pretty close. This is important. It's really important for your cultist village to have access to the water, because otherwise you will never be able to build ships, obviously. Alright, you know you want to give me an easy quest. Return to the village when you're ready to give them 50 dust. Well, okay, I guess we will. Hold on. Let's not have him... Never mind, I did move everybody else already. I was gonna say, let's not have him move away just yet, in case we can get some dust from a ruin. What about here? Is this... This is not a good place to find dust. It is a good place to find a big arm. Well, we got a cool two-handed sword made of glass steel. Unfortunately, a little bit difficult to get that working right now. And over here in Hamara... We still don't actually have the mill foundry available yet, so we can put a turn of construction toward stronghold architecture. What if I move this citizen over to science? Does that get us? Okay, let's let this happen here. We're gonna burn a little bit of food for a turn, but we want to get that mill foundry running. Okay, 40 dust. Great. Let's step back over here and see what else these guys want. Bring 5 glass steel to the other Herna's village. You know, having our hero visit them would have been easy. Bringing them 5 titanium would have been easy. They had to ask for the one thing that we can't give them. Well, what are you going to do? We're just going to have to keep searching ruins until we find some. Okay, this is the Sisters of Mercy village that we are to destroy. Honestly, there's a pretty good chance we could just teleport Andom over here and have him and the one preacher take that village out. We are definitely going to focus Andom on commander skills, or governor skills, rather. Dude's going to make a great governor. Do I want to run across this lava flow? I don't really. We already pacified the village, or the villages in the region. Let's just get a little bit more vision, and we're gonna warp him over next turn. Ah, man. In a lot of ways, this has not been a very good start. So 4 turns on cultivation if we're working science, 6 turns otherwise, but if we're not working food, we are losing food pretty rapidly. Well, okay, no, we're not actually negative on food anymore. Thanks to the Founders Memorial. This way we would finish the mill foundry at the same time as the cultivation thing, and then we can move this guy to industry, push hard for the husbandry center, and then reassign to food. And that'll at least work even through the winter, and then we can try to build the seed storage as the winter's coming to an end, so that it is effective, like, on the first day of summer. Yeah, alright, I think this is going to be the plan. We're going to delay food a little bit in order to accelerate food. The difficult balancing act. What about you guys? Do you have an easy quest? Make sure there's no enemy army in this region in 5 turns. Well, that might get accomplished automatically, and if it does, they will feed us the glass steel that we need to pacify this other faction. And over here... Okay, we'd already spent 1 point on the unit, 1 point of movement on the unit up there, so we could afford to spend 1 point on the hero as well, because the movement speed of an army is the number of movement points of the lowest movement unit remaining in that army. So let's search this with the hero for the XP. We have found nothing of interest, and then let's go over here and punch some Sisters of Mercy in the face. We will show them our mercy. It's not great. It's not the best mercy. Yeah, our hero can totally do this by himself. But we're going to do it manually to try to make sure our Preacher doesn't die. So, here's how the Preacher works. He's a support unit, and as such, he has a spell he can cast on another unit. You can shoot a unit with the spell and just give it plus 10% all stats. It's pretty handy. So obviously, I think this is totally fine. Our hero just standing in a place where he gets a defense bonus from the trees. I actually do want this guy to be here. How much movement do you have? 2? Maybe I don't want this guy to be here. I don't actually want the Preacher to get attacked. He can cast this spell from here. Just give me the buff. Okay. And then focus fire. That's all there really is to that. As you can see, this might take a turn or two. Oh man, really? I can't get through this, you get through the 71 defense we have to deal with here. You know, it's nice that I'm standing in a forest. It kind of is a shame that she is standing in a forest. These actually hit her. Okay, there we go. Alright, we're going to have to finish that next turn. But that'll pacify this village as well as the Gelderus village. So that'll be 2 more and we'll be at 5. And then, honestly, the legendary deed might complete itself depending on how many villages are in this region. I guess, actually, we can see that there's not a lot of territory left to reveal. Probably there are not 3 villages here for us. Fortunately, we had no movement left, so standing here and waiting to attack them next turn doesn't actually slow us down any. And again, we got to do this manually again, just to make sure that no damage happens to the Preacher. I would love it if we could fight maybe more out in the open. I think that benefits me more than it benefits you. Oh, I thought she was going to come around this way because I couldn't tell that that's a cliff. It's hard to tell on the parts of the tile that are facing away. You also attack. No, attack. Stop buffing that dude. And again we fight in the forest, but this time at least it worked. Alright. So we have pacified the Gelderus. And we have access to a luxury... Oh, sorry. We'll have access to a luxury booster once we return. So we got gold earlier, and I didn't immediately pop it because I thought it would be good to save it because of the, minus 50% dust on city upkeep right now is basically no dust. But there's certainly an argument to be made that I should have popped it immediately for the approval boost. I don't know. I don't know what was right to do. I think dust is going to be a little bit of an issue for us in the early game because we don't have the time to devote to getting the dust buildings. So we're going to have to run back here. When we run back here, we're going to get dye, and we will pop the dye booster immediately. You need to keep looking around. Going to get that ruin would be extremely painful, so I think we're just going to skip that one for now. And get ourselves 30 dust. Hey, that's not too bad. I'm hoping that we can use a little bit of dust to rush the Husbandry Center, but we'll see how the minor faction quests go. We do still need to take minor faction quests where we can, and sometimes they demand dust. Picked up, produce 40 industry in one of your cities, and you get the thing. We don't have to worry about that. That will just happen. Also found 40 more dust. Alright, we are unfortunately going to have to step on some lava the way I've routed us around here. It's not a big deal. Okay, this is the Herna's village that we need to bring the glass steel to. Well, we did get some glass steel. So we're totally going to get this initiative bonus, I think. Which is cool. It's nice to get a nice early legendary deed. A little bit of advantage here in this game where we are so tremendously disadvantaged. So we should be at, what, 7 villages now? Yep, and as soon as we get our units back to the Gelderus village and turn in the quest, that'll be the 8th one, and we will have our visionary leader. I do kind of feel like a visionary, sometimes. It's extremely earned. Okay, so the best way to do this is going to be... the cliffs around our home area are really terrible. Okay, so you take damage when you start your turn. Yeah, when you end your movement on the location. So what we're going to do is wait here, next turn, run to here, take a ton of damage, doing it, turn in the quest. It's fine. We probably won't have to fight too much in the near future. Okay, so... Husbandry Center. Focus. We're not actually taking a turn off of it by focusing on industry, but we are rolling more industry into it, which will lower the dust cost to rush it out a little bit. Yeah, so you're good where you are. We do need to pick up a new research. So, where are we at now? Do we have strategics in our home region? We have glass steel. We also have no luxuries. This is honestly a pretty bad region. Not a great start. Well, we could pick up sewer system. Makes it very easy to keep the Empire happy, and also gives us influence. We probably need that glass steel sooner rather than later, but we also, desperately need science. Dust a little bit less desperately. Yeah, alright, let's do it this way. So the question is, now, is the industry boost from this going to be enough to offset the food lost from doing this? Or from not doing this, rather. Now, you know what, we'll have that guy focus on food for now. There are a lot of things about this that are not ideal. Are you still locked? You are locked, okay. If there was only one... If he didn't have any turns left on his lock, I would have just separated this army into 2 pieces. Had one of them... Had the minor unit go and turn in the thing and have the hero go out here to get this. You know, I might have them just stand still for a turn to make that happen. Because it doesn't really matter if the preacher's injured, and also the hero can be out getting XP. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. You're actually just going to stand still for a turn. Within 5 turns, search those temple ruins to get Break Wall, which is a pretty good shield. Yeah, sure, we'll head in that direction. I want to say hello to this minor faction village. So yeah, you are just going to sit for a turn. Somebody else entered Era 2, which is harsh. It's turn 11. But you know, we got to put on the blinders a little bit, not compare ourselves too harshly to the other players. Oh, this thing happened. So there we go. That's our village for the legendary deed. And so, tactical training is ours. 15% initiative for all of our units forever. Pretty okay. Hero, go this way. Preacher, go... Oh, these tiles cause extra damage. Well, or these tiles cost extra movement. Alright, go take a whole bunch of damage. Not going to be enough to kill you. So... I don't know, just deal with it, man. You're gonna be okay. Empty ruin, because of course it is. We're having a bit of a rough go of it here. Saratan would like us to bring them 8 titanium. At this point, pacifying more villages has dramatically lower value to us. We might not do that. I also kind of don't care about Breakwall. I want to grab this, and then we'll see if we can route over there, but if not, whatever. Oh, I don't know why I didn't just talk to them from here, though. It doesn't matter, but I totally could have pacified them last turn. Alright, so we got our dies. I guess it does matter, because of the dies. Alright, listen. I'm still shaking it off a little bit. Having a go of it. Okay, so we need to start converting villages. We have some influence income now. We have some influence built up. Another empty ruin, really? Oh man, look at all the strategics in this region. So let's, We could convert this village, but the territory that they're sitting on is pretty poor. Yeah, let's not. Let's not do that. Let's go convert some of these guys. Unfortunately, he's going to have to walk across lava to do that. It's not ideal. Listen, this guy loves walking across lava. It's why they call him Lava Foot. I'm reconsidering. Do I care about Breakwall? If we don't get it now, we'll never be able to get it again. Yeah, okay, I do. They have met red. It looks like they're vaulters. Maybe dangerous. They have a unit, or they have an army that is, at this point, probably composed entirely of ranged units, which is potentially a real problem for us. And there are a lot of minor faction villages just kind of like in terrible spots where converting them will not actually be very good for us. Cunningly placed to not be useful. In your next Empire plan, don't put influence in the military ministry and get at least one level of economy and population. Okay. That's totally doable. The Empire plan is quite a while from now. I'm wondering if this is the time to snap our hero back. I think it probably is, right? We're at a dead end out here. We can see that there are no ruins to search. Yeah. Alright, so that sharpens up our influence income considerably. We have an extra point of population thanks to the converted Gelderus village, which is going to help us get this food done, and then we're going to have 3 points of population in a city that is producing 10 population per, or 10 food per pop point. And then we'll see how things look from there, but that's certainly a better situation than we were in when the game started. I mean, he must love lava, right? Look at how frequently he runs into it. Oh, you're kidding me. We got ambushed out of nowhere. Well, obviously we retreat. We gotta get over here and search this ruin because this unit's about to be killed. So we did it. We finished the quest. We got a hold of Breakwall, which is a pretty good shield. And then we get to search this ruin again. And then we need to key in a movement command and really mash the heck out of that follow your orders button as soon as the next turn starts. And we don't really have anything else that needs doing, so let's get on that. So a big part of the difficulty of playing these guys is controlling the other players. It's not so much about what's going on with your own stuff, but rather that, like, it's really easy for the other players to run away with the game. Okay, Endom the Seer is going to head for some of this top-level stuff right away. We will come back and finish Impassioned Preacher, but obviously it's a lot more powerful when the population of the city is higher. Plus, who couldn't use plus 15% science right now? Alright, so we've got that. Winter's going to happen any second now, but we know it's not going to be, like, right away, because the Dust Eclipse hasn't happened yet. So I think I'm going to go ahead and jam on seed storage. We'll get some time with this. And actually, the 15% extra food output will be significant with people working food with the husbandry center. So yeah, seed storage. We're going to really pump food here. And we're going to go and convert this village. At least it has 6 tiles that it gets to work. That's something. We're producing 12 influence per turn now. That's a pretty good start. Keep an eye on this guy. Try to get as much ruin searching done as we can before he gets killed. Because they will get him. We can only outrun them for so long. Search it, search it, search it. Yeah, he got the search. 30 dust. Cool. Next turn. Run! We may convert this village too, but I don't know. I don't think we'll have the influence to do 2 conversions right now. I think it's going to be a minute. And remember, we got to save influence for the Empire plan. Our Empire plans will be considerably cheaper than most factions. I believe the cost for the Empire plans works a little bit like the resource cost for this stuff, where it goes up when you convert a village, but not by very much. So we'll always be working on pretty cheap Empire plans. Alright, let's go meet Pink. Quickly. Go quickly. Pink is the Forgotten. Oh, man. I may have made an error. We don't actually care about the Nidya. I just wanted to see if they had a cool reward for pacification, and it seems like they do not. So this is bad. This faction is, first of all, very aggressive, and secondly, really, really into spying. Although I guess it's a lot easier for us to defend ourselves from spies than it is a lot of factions, because we can just plant all of our spy defense, all of our security buildings in the same city and not have to worry about them like running all over the Empire. So yeah, let's get the public library done. Boy, what else do we need research-wise? We do want access to the mercenary market. It would be cool to get a commander, but it's less crucial than it is with a lot of factions because we're not trying to get governors for our early cities. Well, how much of my 5 of my initial tiles have science on them? So that does give us some value for topography. Honestly, just keeping the whole city happy is probably pretty important. There's also the pillage action, which allows us to mess with enemy infrastructure buildings like resource extractors in exchange for a reward. It's just steal resources from people. And we do have to pick up Alchemist Furnace at some point. It's not actually optional. There's also the boarding vessel. Our first extra district should probably be out toward the water. Yeesh, this is such bad land. Man, I wish we had started, like, in any of the other regions around us. Vultures are expanding toward us aggressively, which probably means they intend some harm. Some, like, near future harm. Let's pick up boarding vessels, try to get out on the water a little bit. The Vultures are not currently naval. Yeah, they don't have any coastal regions, so they couldn't build any boats. And if they do want to build boats, they'll have to go through a volcanic region to do it. So we might be able to secure some of the ocean over here, and that can be really, really helpful for the cultists, who usually do not get a lot of opportunity to expand resource production. Assimilation effect, 5% dust per pacified and rebuilt Delver's village on cities. It's nice that the assimilation effects are in the tooltip now. I assume that that is a community patch thing and not just not an expansion thing. Okay, so we've converted the village. A couple of things. We are now working all of these tiles. So you can see it's sending 12 food, 6 industry, and 6 dust back to the main city. And we got ourselves a free dredge. This icon here means not retrofittable. Basically means this unit is hot garbage forever. We have to be very careful about our converted villages. Other players can roll through and destroy them. And at this point in the game, there's not a lot we can do about that. So we just have to be cautious. Oh, I should have popped the gold before doing that. I even thought about it last turn. Well, it's not a big deal, but that would have been a little bit of extra dust for us. That's alright. Maybe we'll find some more gold. I'm making little mistakes all over the place here. I'm not too worried about that stuff. I mean, things are going to be rough as we continue to reacclimate to the game. It doesn't really matter which ruin we go to over here. So as we convert cities, or convert minor faction villages, it will get more and more expensive to continue converting villages. Hit our dust eclipse here, it looks like. Oh, okay, I see what happened. This tile became impassable. He lost his movement orders because they built a district here. It's a pretty good block. Okay, so it's going to be a dust eclipse next turn. None of these are temple ruins. Temple ruins look like this, right? Okay. If we head back in this direction, we stand to... Or you know what? That's not an everybody thing, right? That's just a Kapaku thing. That you can research temple ruins during the eclipse, I think. In any case, let's get back in this direction and see what's what, I guess. Okay. This venerable and cautious race, rumor has it that the Dorgeshi have stockpiled vast mountains of resources. You know what? 50 spices would be great to get. Unfortunately, I do not think we're likely to assimilate any Dorgeshi anytime soon, because I don't think we've even found any. We do have the option of assimilating any minor faction that we have converted villages of, in addition to the one that's actually in our home region. These guys are not bad. They're not amazing, they're just not bad. And they will provide the tough infantry that we're looking for our army. We may end up assimilating them. What's our empire plan going to look like? Let's figure out how much influence we actually have to play with. Obviously, we want that. If we were to pick this up as well, it would cost 56. This would pacify a minor faction. Was the reward for pacifying them? Nope, it's just pacification. Although we can then... They actually have villages near us that are probably defensible. So I think we do want to do that. So we're looking at spending 56 probably. Which means we probably don't get to pacify this village. Or convert this village, rather. Before the Empire plan. I'll just keep an eye on this dude. I mean, the temple ruins are glowing all funny. Is that an everybody thing? Yeah, it is. It is, in fact, an everybody thing. Okay, well, that was quite a bit of money, which is good, because we're quite a bit money negative. We could use a large influx of cash here. 5 glass steel is fine. I really wish we were finding more titanium. I want there to be some chance of us building the industrial megapole, and that is not going to happen if we don't start getting a little bit lucky here. Speaking of getting a little bit lucky here, movement conflux. So remember, confluxes are more effective for the Kapaku. That's why we're not quite seeing the same value. It would be 44 to convert this. We're going to gain 12 more, so we'll be at 89. We need 56. Okay, so we cannot convert this safely right now. It's not a very good village anyway. Oh, gee, what do you think? Let's just get some more vision. Let's head this way, because this way gets us up on taller land. We'll go this way next. You need to get over here and search this. And I want to be in position to convert the Silic village. Well, actually, I guess the best tile to go to would have been here then. Whatever, we're fine. 10 glass steel. It's happening again, man. Okay, so like we discussed, we want to do this empire plan. And we'll have the 44 for the conversion when we get over to the Silics. Okay. I mean, a lot of things are looking up. Honestly, this is not that bad. Not great, but it's not that bad. I need more units. I just need more bodies out here on the searching and ruin scraping detail. So we can see pink is right up against green. We don't know who green is, but this is unlikely to be bad for us, them competing. Found ourselves a quest to defeat an army in Smezroth. Well, the bad news is we are not capable of defeating any armies with this army. So let's try to get home. I think they're going to try to kill us. We might be able to get out of here in time. We completed that, so the Silics are pacified. I should probably use the camera control hotkeys. Oh, it's 48 now, apparently. That's inconvenient. We could go convert this village instead. That one does have access to a full 7-tile area. Let's grab this ruin first. Unfortunately, we don't get to know how much time is in the dust eclipses. I'm not even sure we're going to be able to search this. It turns out, it's good to have information. Pretty much always. And like I said, I don't necessarily expect that we have a super good chance of winning this game. I would not be surprised at all for us to get killed here. Okay, we found 75 dust. We failed to do this quest because either the quest army got killed by another player or the village that gave it to us got killed by another player. I suspect the latter. And this is really crappy. It's not really a lot we can do about it. Okay, so we now have a Silic. I don't think we're going to be able to combine our one Silic with this Preacher to defeat that army of 2 Silics. But if I get over here and it seems reasonable to convert this village, we might be able to have our 2 Silics and the Preacher beat up that minor faction army. Alright, so we're about to have coastal access. I really don't think we need the museum. I would like the museum, but also I would like to have enough titanium to at least attempt the industrial megapole, which means we gotta get lucky and find some titanium. And I can't be spending it. We need 3 more techs, this looks like. Well, we should probably get Alchemist Furnace and Open Pit Mine. Open Pit Mine won't help us in our own territory because we have no luxuries, but over here there are spices available. And we will get some of those spices, I believe, just by having the having villages converted in the region. I don't think they actually have to be on the resource. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. I'm like 40% sure that's how that works. So what do we want to build here? We don't have the population to get another district going. No, never mind. We totally do. Food growth has been crazy good. We do get population from converted villages, so that's why we are suddenly at effectively 8 pop. And that's also why it will suck so much to lose converted villages. So like we really do have to care about that. So we could just build our next borough, I suppose. Yeah, that's probably what we'll do. My phone? Who on earth would be calling me during this, my sacred recording time? I'm going to let the Silic army move first. We're going to give them a moment. Okay, now we move. Hoping they will have spent everything by now so that we can just get away scot-free here. So what would it cost to convert the 3rd village? 72. This is a little unreasonable. We have gotten ourselves 10 grass silk. This worthy one heals quickly, but its mind remains closed. Perhaps these examples will serve to help it understand. They begin to think. This is good. They will come to us willingly in time. For everything must be bent to the will of the cult, or be destroyed. I have seen this conversion again. What power do they have that makes others so glad to obey? Once you are converted, you never doubt or hesitate. Just follow orders, as if you enjoy it. Like dogs, wagging tails, eager to please. They'll let me leave the pit if I mouth the words and obey the orders. I'll do it, if only to find a way to save my people. As long as I still control my thoughts, I will fight for the future and the safety of my tribe. No cult or army will change that. And never one full of such strangeness, dedicated to an insane cause. But I am no fool. I see the power, and power seduces. But what do they want to do with it? Destroy? Save? Rule? One day I will know, and until then I'll watch and wait. So if we properly assimilate a minor faction, we will get enough wine to pop a booster, which is definitely a thing we need to do. I believe assimilating the Silics increases our resource mining rate. Yeah, that's not terrible. Silics also heavy infantry with beam attacks and sweep strike back. Delvers are kind of interesting because they have circular attack and also stun. The stun can only trigger on the main target of the attack, but it's still interesting to have infantry that by default have circular attack. I'm not sure which direction we're going to go here. It's probably not the Gelderus for right now, but this is what we need to do with influence next. So that is what next turn's influence is earmarked for. There's a cliff there. Yeah, so we can't actually get that ruin. Well, let's hope that the Dust Eclipse has one more turn left in it so we can actually get this. Yep, and there's that dead minor faction village. Okay, we want to start another burrow, pick ourselves up some more dust, and work toward upgrading the city center. By the way, check this out. Control F10. This thing is the palace, but I believe this is basically what our queen looks like. We've built a palace for the queen in the shape of the queen. I'll just spoil it right now. The queen, I think, is a server that an endless built AI is running on. The throne is the server. The queen is the AI. I'm pretty sure that's what the quest implies, at least. Okay, so hold on. We're going to get Alchemist Furnace, we're going to get Open Pit Mine, and then we should probably grab Mercenary Market, I guess. Well, you know what? It's probably better to get Sewer System now. We will need Mercenary Market eventually. But I think this is a reasonable way to go for the moment. Okay, so you are just gonna... Yeah, if there's one more turn on the Dust Eclipse, that's not unreasonable. This guy's low enough on health that if he gets caught by the Silix and forced to retreat, he will die. I have to be a little careful about that. Okay. One more turn. Everybody go search me some temple ruins. 90 dust. We do need to fix our dust problem. Remember, it's only going to get worse when winter comes. So apparently our unit's actually in this space, and it will take a turn to move to here. That's what the dots on the ground are telling us. A little bit at odds with the graphics, but this is a bug that's been around for a long time. All right, we should probably get this guy, like, back home. And let's get an assimilation. Silix are not, I think, the ones we need to go to right now. Let's pick up Delvers. Delvers will make a fine infantry corps. So, now that we've got them assimilated, of course, we can build their unit. And we've got a little bit of extra dust output from them. Do we have one more turn of Eclipse? It's got to be getting pretty close to winter time. No, no more Eclipse. Which means that this guy, who is actually here, yep, this is where I select him, doesn't need to walk over here anymore, so what do I want him to do? Well, hold on. Let's do this first. So we've assimilated a minor faction, we have received wine, we will immediately use the wine. The cultists wish to study ruins. Search temple ruins with at least two level 2 minor faction units in your army. So we gotta build a couple level 2 minor faction units. If we build them after we move into the next era, they will be level 2 upon construction, so that's the plan. We should route around this way so that we can reveal some more territory as we move back home. What do I want you to do? I guess... head this way. There could be more ruins over here somewhere. Somebody else reached Era 3 on turn 25, when we are so very close to almost being close to Era 2. We're right on the cusp of being on the cusp of this. Alright, so our food output should be phenomenal. We're going to have a lot more flexibility. Unfortunately, no chance at the Megapole. Like, I think we could go for it, too, with Endom boosting our per citizen industry plus all of these bodies, if only we had titanium, you know? Although, actually, now that we have Alchemist Furnace, yeah, we are getting 0.2 titanium per Delver village in this region, and there are 3 Delver villages, so we could, well, it says we're actually getting 0.6 from conversion. Am I getting the value from all 3 villages already? Even though only one of them is converted? Is that right? I guess we'll see. We can tell by when the display flips over to 6. I do wish it just showed the fractional units, but the decimal units, I suppose. But what are you going to do? Okay, those guys are going to kill my preacher, which I do not like. Quickly! Parlay! Oh, they don't want to negotiate. Yep, and there's the kill. We do not have enough health to run away, so we will auto-resolve combat. I hope he dealt 1 point of damage. I don't think it's super likely, but I hope. So this is bad, because the Vaulters could run over here and just annihilate these Silics. We can't really do anything about it right now. We need to get to the next level and get Nameless Guard researched. As it is, like... it's difficult. As it is, it's difficult. We also should get a boat. Let's have a quick look at our boat design. Do I want to upgrade the boat? The thing about this boat is that it's mostly going to be for like searching sea ruins and getting quick quests. It's definitely going to lose a fight, so probably it's not worth equipping anything on it. Can I give it movement? No, the first tier of hydrofoils only gives initiative. Improved vision might be worth it, though. How much does that increase the cost? Oh, wow. By, like, 50%. Never mind. Right, give me a normal boarding vessel. I will just buy this out. If we can get a couple of fortresses converted quickly, it can have a huge effect on the game. Unfortunately, I've waited long enough that we might get minor faction vesseled a little bit, which would be bad. Oof. And of course it's winter. Alright, good news and bad news, right? The good news is we're less likely to get attacked by other players right now. That's 1 pearl? Yeah, I think that was just 1 pearl. The deposit was small enough. The other good news is we did that, apparently. Totally forgot about it, which is exactly how that quest works. So, -1 food on food terrain, -1 dust on dust terrain. Turns out this actually doesn't impact our food very much, because none of our food is coming from terrain. It does turn off the flat 15-point bonus on the seed storage, but that's the extent of the damage. And yeah, we're just going to keep working food. We have tremendous population. We might... I was about to say we might want to make some more vessels, but probably, actually, if we're going to transfer people over to industry, which I'm not saying we are, what we would build is dredges, right? Make some dredges pretty quickly, though. So it looks like the cost of putting on some equipment is pretty low. Yeah, that's not a big loss at all. An improved movement 1, I assume, is 1 movement, 3 initiative. 1 battle movement is actually kind of a big deal. That's a little bit more expensive, but you know what? I think it's worth it. Let's get these guys outfitted. Because we're going to need an army. Let's get into the part of the game where we have to be able to fight and defend our stuff here. Oh, right, but I want to hold off until we're actually in the next era, if possible. Because I want them to come out at level 2. So hold on, we actually don't even want to queue them yet, I think. What I actually want to do is devote us to science. That has us producing 123 per turn. Research cost 144. Okay. So yeah, that'll get us to Era 2 quickly. We really, really, really need to get to Era 2. Okay, I think that's worth doing. I know we're burning a little bit of our food bonus here from the husbandry center, but I think it's worth it. We can also just use some dust to get some of this stuff done. It doesn't really help us to get this stuff done, though, does it? We don't actually need the glass steel that badly. Yeah, that's just stuff we're building, because something has to be in the queue, basically. Okay. Gonna keep an eye on this guy. We want to make sure we're getting more vision here, but also make sure we're trying to grab pearls that we see on our way in. Obviously, it would be really cool if I could build my own Altar of Auriga, which is going to require some pearls. We'll grab that now that we've revealed all this stuff. And you need to find me some fortresses, man. I mean, we see one there. That is the one we are generally heading toward. Okay, so sewer system in 1 turn. How many people can I move off of science and keep that 1 turn? Because that's we should have as few people devoted to this as possible. And keep focusing on growth for the moment. Okay. There we go. Min-max that a little bit. We need dust, which basically means we need winter to end. Alright, welcome to Era 2. Uh-oh. Minor faction boat. We've encountered the Fomorians. We're just gonna hide in this fog bank real quick. Let's get a quest from this fortress, and then we'll decide how we want to deal with the Fomorians. Capture the indicated listening post in the same ocean. Sea may be vast, but it is far from empty. There are many competing empires and powers on Auriga, and it's hardly guaranteed that what you control today will still be yours tomorrow. Another fortress in this area has not been taken by another empire, and if you can conquer it and hold it, that will prove to its inhabitants that you are firm, if not necessarily friendly. So, we have to capture this and then hold it. We have to capture this other listening post and hold it for several turns. And that would give us the 2 fortresses here. Is this... Okay, the sea region doesn't show up on this list until we have at least one. So we have at least one of the fortresses in it. Those might be the only 2 fortresses in the region. You can see it's kind of a narrow one. So that would actually be really cool for us. Maybe we should focus on building ships rather than building delvers. We do need to build delvers for this, but it doesn't have to be right this second. So we've hit Era 2. We have a lot of potential researches. Yeah, got that dealt with. So let's talk about this. Well, I'm not going to do anything else. This is where we're going to end the video. But let's talk about our options real quick here. Obviously, Nameless Guard, pretty valuable. We could make an army, like we could research the Nameless Guard and then make an army that's 2 Delvers and 2 Nameless Guard and actually be able to defend our villages a little bit. We could go for Imperial Coinage and see if it is still possible to get... How many turns are we talking about on researches here? 4, but we could adjust that, obviously. We could try to get some titanium and maybe go for the Megapole. I think we might be okay without it, and honestly, I don't know that we're going to get it either way, so it may not be worth chasing. We could talk about alchemical alloys or meritocratic promotion. Like, we need to be able to fight other players soon. Both because other players are running armies around, and because other players are expanding. Because we're playing Cultists, we're not exerting the normal amount of territory pressure on other players. They're going to be able to conquer a lot more regions than normal, which means they're going to be able to get ahead much more effectively than normal, which means we need to be a check on them. And, of course, every other player's city that we destroy is a whole bunch of free industry for us. So we do have to think about war here. I think probably whatever move we make right now is a war-focused move. Although, if you argued that I should go back and grab Empire Mint real quickly, I don't think that I could necessarily say you were crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what the next move is. Let's all have a nice think about it, shall we? Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time, tomorrow, to see if we can turn what I think is kind of a risky start into at least a challenge? Probably not a victory, but we can challenge the other players. And we'll see you then.